So, picture this. You're sitting in a massive meeting at work.
Oh boy. I know this feeling.
Right. The CEO suddenly turns to you and asks a highly specific question about the project you're working on.
Yeah.
And in that exact moment, your mind just goes entirely blank.
Completely empty.
Yeah. Absolute panic sets in. The whole room is quiet, just looking at you. And your only defense, the only thing you can think to say is, I don't know.
Ouch. Yeah, that's rough.
And suddenly the room just feels incredibly awkward.
Yeah.
But what if you had 15 different ways out of that trap?
It's a terrifying situation. I mean, it happens to everyone, though.
Oh, absolutely.
When we feel pressured, we tend to grab the easiest phrase available. So today, our mission is to look at some source material that gives us a whole set of, natural, better ways to say, I don't know in English.
Yeah, but before we jump into those 15 phrases, I really want to clear something up.
Okay, what's that?
Well, a lot of learners, they feel embarrassed when they say, I don't know. Like as if it's bad English or a mistake. Have you noticed that?
I have, yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know is 100% grammatically correct.
Right.
Native English speakers say it, dozens of times a day. We're not telling anyone to delete this phrase from their vocabulary.
No, definitely not. Think of it like this. Imagine a carpenter who is trying to build a beautiful wooden house.
Okay.
But the only tool he brought with him is a hammer.
Just one hammer.
Just a hammer. And, a hammer is a fantastic tool. It's great for hitting nails.
Right.
But if you try to build an entire house with just one hammer, your work is going to be incredibly difficult.
Oh, yeah. And the result will probably look a little messy. You might break some windows trying to install them with a hammer.
Exactly. You need a full toolbox.
You really do. And it's the same with English. If your only response to every question is, I don't know, your conversation just hits a wall.
Right.
People might think you, I don't know, unhelpful or maybe even a bit lazy. Having more tools gives you a choice.
The choice, yeah.
You can explain why you don't have the answer.
That makes total sense. Because sometimes, you just need a few seconds to think. Or maybe you just need to look at your phone to check a schedule.
Exactly.
So let's open up this toolbox. I want to start with a situation where I might actually have a guess. Like, I don't have the final answer, but my brain isn't completely empty either.
Okay, that's a great place to start. The best tool for that situation is simply, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's softer than saying, I don't know. It shows the other person that you are actively thinking about their question.
I like that. So if someone asks me, is it going to rain this afternoon? I could say, I'm not sure. I haven't checked the weather yet.
Perfect example. And notice how different that feels from a flat plate. I don't know.
It does feel different.
When you say, I'm not sure, you leave the door open, you're basically saying that an answer exists, and maybe, you could figure it out together.
Leaving the door open, I really like that image. It protects your own confidence, and it doesn't shut the other person down. But what if I'm talking to my boss or a very important client? I feel like I'm not sure is a little bit casual.
That's a fair point. You can dress it up for professional situations by swapping just one word.
Oh, really? Which word?
You say, I'm not certain.
I'm not certain.
It means the exact same thing, but it sounds much more formal. So if a client asks about a delivery date, you'd say, I'm not certain if the shipment arrives on Thursday or Friday.
Wow, I'm not certain. It almost sounds like you've done the research, but you just need to verify the final detail.
Exactly. It sounds very professional.
Okay, now let's flip that around. What if I'm sitting on the couch with my best friend and we're trying to pick a movie?
Right.
I don't want to sound like a lawyer and say, I am not certain which movie we should watch.
No, definitely not. For that, you can relax the phrase by adding the word really.
Really?
You say, I'm not really sure.
Oh, I'm not really sure. Yeah, that really drops the energy down. Like, hey, I'm not really sure what I want for dinner.
Yes, that sounds incredibly natural. And there's actually one more variation in this sort of not sure family.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sometimes a person will state a fact, and you suspect that their fact is wrong. You can use the phrase, I'm not sure about that.
Oh, I use this one all the time to avoid arguments.
It's perfect for that.
Yeah, let's say my friend insists that the grocery store closes at 9 p.m., but I know for a fact it closes at 8 p.m. on Sundays.
Okay, so what do you say?
Well, if I say, you're wrong, it starts a fight.
Right, it's too aggressive.
But if I say, oh, I'm not sure about that, I think it might close at 8, it's just a polite disagreement.
It completely softens the correction. So that's the not sure family. You use these when you want to leave the door open or when you have a slight guess.
Okay, but let's be honest here. Sometimes you really don't have a guess.
That's true.
Sometimes you stare completely blankly at a problem and your brain is entirely empty. If that door is completely shut, I'm not sure it feels a little too weak.
It does. For total uncertainty, the phrase to use is, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a very strong statement. You're emphasizing that this information is completely missing from your brain.
So if I can't find my car keys and my wife asks where they are, I have no idea perfectly captures my frustration. Like, I literally do not know.
Yes, exactly. The psychology here is actually really interesting. You're signaling that they shouldn't even bother asking you follow-up questions because, well, the well is dry.
The well is dry.
Right.
But I have to imagine saying I have no idea to the CEO in that meeting we talked about earlier, that might get you in trouble.
Oh, definitely. You have to be super careful with this one at work.
Because it sounds a bit dismissive.
It sounds like you don't care about their problem. If your boss asks why a project is delayed and you just shrug and say, I have no idea, it implies you aren't going to help fix it.
Right. Tone is just everything. Now, there's another phrase in our source notes for having zero information. And it's, I have got a clue.
Yes.
This one feels much more playful to me.
It is. It's highly informal. It's almost a way to use humor to diffuse an awkward moment.
Diffuse, meaning like make the tension go away.
Exact.
So like if my dad buys a complicated new smart TV, right?
Oh, I know where this is going.
And he hands me this remote with 50 different buttons on it, and he asks me how to record a show, I might just laugh and say, I haven't got a clue.
Perfect context. It's great for family and friends. Just keep it strictly out of the boardroom.
Right. Keep it casual.
Ah.
So we've covered leaving the door open, and we've covered the mind going completely blank.
Yeah.
I want to move to my absolute favorite part of the source material. We were just talking about how, I don't know, creates a dead end in conversation.
It really does.
And people want solutions, right? Especially at work.
Yeah.
So how do we pivot from lacking knowledge to actually being helpful?
We use what we call action-oriented phrases.
Okay, action-oriented.
Yeah. The most common one for a quick action is, let me check.
Let me check. I love this because it shifts the focus completely.
It does.
You move the spotlight away from your lack of knowledge and put it straight onto your capability to take action.
That is a great way to put it. So if a coworker asks, hey, do we have any printing paper left? You don't just say, I don't know.
Well,
you say, let me check the supply closet. You immediately become the person who is solving the problem.
yeah, because it only takes 10 seconds to go look. But what if the answer takes a longer time to find? Like, what if I need to make 3 phone calls just to figure it out?
Then you transition to another phrase. You say, I'll find out.
I'll find out. Okay, that sounds like a solid promise.
It is a promise. It takes a bit more effort. Think about the psychology of trust in a workplace, right?
Okay.
When someone asks you a question, they are carrying a little bit of stress because they need information.
That makes sense.
When you say, I'll find out, you are physically taking that stress off their shoulders and putting it onto your own.
Wow, I really see that. So if a manager asks if the new software update is ready for Friday, if I say I'll find out, the manager can just walk away and stop worrying about it because they trust I'm on the case. It makes you look incredibly capable.
It's just a minor change in vocabulary, but a massive change in how people perceive you at work.
This is so useful. Let's explore some more specific situations from the text.
Sure.
Sometimes the gap in our knowledge is very specific. For instance, what if someone asks me a really detailed question about a city I've never visited? Or maybe a computer program I've just never used.
Okay, so there you are dealing with missing experience. You simply haven't done it. The phrase you need there is, I'm not familiar with that.
Familiar, meaning you don't have a history with it.
Exactly. So if a colleague asks, have you read the latest report from the marketing team? You can say, I'm not familiar with that report yet.
I'm not familiar with that report yet. It really frames the situation perfectly. It's like you aren't lacking intelligence, you just haven't crossed paths with that specific item yet.
Precisely. Now, what if you're missing hard data? Say you work in customer service. A customer calls and asks for their exact account balance, but your computer screen is just endlessly loading.
Oh, I hate that. Well, I definitely can't guess their money. That would be a complete disaster.
Right, you can't guess. So you say, I don't have that information.
I don't have that information. That's very neutral, isn't it? It basically blames the computer system or the current moment, not my brain.
Exactly. You're keeping things highly professional. Now, there's a particular phrase in the notes that often trips up English learners.
Oh, I bet I know which one you mean.
It uses the word afraid.
Yes.
We have two versions of this. I'm afraid I don't know, and I'm afraid I can't say for sure.
I have to tell you, I remember being so confused by this when I first started studying English.
Really? Why is that?
Well, because I thought, does I'm afraid mean I'm physically scared, like terrified?
Oh, I see.
Because if a tourist stops me on the street and asks where the nearest coffee shop is, it would be really weird for me to act frightened by that question.
Like,
Coffee.
that would be a very funny reaction. But no, it has absolutely nothing to do with fear.
Okay.
In English, starting a sentence with I'm afraid is simply a cultural tool. It's used to politely deliver disappointing news.
Oh, so I'm just softening the blow.
Yes.
I'm basically saying to the tourist, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't know where the coffee shop is.
Exactly. You're showing empathy. And that second phrase, I'm afraid I can't say for sure, is an absolutely excellent tool when you need to avoid making a dangerous guess.
A dangerous guess, like giving legal advice or maybe financial predictions.
Exactly. If someone asks, will our taxes go up next year? You really shouldn't guess.
Right. So I'd say, I'm afraid I can't say for sure. It depends on the new laws. It protects everybody.
It does. It keeps you safe.
Fair.
Now let's talk about really high pressure environments like a job interview.
Interviews are so stressful.
They are. So they ask you a really complex question. The silence in the room suddenly feels heavy. You know, you need 3 or 4 seconds just to process the words they even said. How do you buy yourself time? The absolute best phrase to buy time is, that's a good question.
Wait, really? I'm just complimenting them on their question. How does that actually help me?
Well, the human brain processes silence as a threat in a high-stress situation.
Right. I always panic if it's quiet.
Exactly. If you sit silently for 4 seconds, you feel like you're failing. But if you slowly say, that's a good question.
Oh, it takes a couple of seconds just to say that sentence.
Yes, it takes time to speak. It validates the interviewer, making them feel really smart. And most importantly, it gives your brain a moment to actually organize an answer.
I've actually done that without realizing it. It literally feels like hitting the pause button on a video game just so you can catch your breath.
It is exactly like a pause button. Now, the notes also mention a phrase. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Oh, I'm not sure how to answer that. That feels slightly different.
It is different. It's for when the question is very complicated or maybe even a little too personal.
Like if a coworker asks, why do you think the last manager got fired?
Oh, that is a trap. That's terrible office gossip.
Right, it's a huge trap.
If you say, I'm not sure how to answer that, you are signaling that the topic is messy.
Okay.
You're acknowledging the question without actually stepping into the mess yourself.
That is so smart. It slows the whole conversation down safely.
Exactly.
Before we look at some common grammar mistakes, I want to pull out just one last phrase from the casual list.
Which one?
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you. How do you usually use that one?
Well, I use it when I want to express genuine surprise about something being totally outside my universe.
Okay, give me an example.
If a friend asks me, hey, why did John suddenly sell his house and move to Alaska? I'd probably reply, I couldn't tell you.
Yes.
It kind of implies, like, I'm just as surprised as you are, and I have absolutely no inside information on this crazy situation.
It's very conversational. It turns a lack of knowledge into a shared moment of mystery between two friends. Like, wow, who knows?
Exactly. So we have all these fantastic tools in our toolbox now. The not sure family, the zero idea family, all those great action phrases, and the polite gap fillers.
We do.
But a tool is really only good if you know how to hold it. So let's look at the grammar traps that English learners often fall into.
Yes, this is so important.
I'll try to guess what's wrong with these common mistakes from the source material.
Okay, let's play the game. Let's start with mistake number 1. Sometimes learners try to use the continuous ing form. They say, I am not knowing.
I am not knowing. Okay, so the verb know is a state verb.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
It describes a state of mind, not a physical action you're doing in the moment like running or jumping. So we don't use ing with it. We just keep it clean and simple and say, I don't know.
Spot on. You can't be in the process of knowing. Mistake number 2 involves the zero idea family.
Okay.
I frequently hear people say, I don't have idea.
I don't have idea. The grammar feels a little empty there, like there's a hole in the sentence.
Yes, exactly.
It needs the negative marker directly attached to the noun. So the fixed expression is, I have no idea. Let me just say that clearly for the listeners. I have no idea.
Perfect. Don't forget the no. Let's look at mistake number 3. This happens when talking about a lack of experience. Someone might say, I'm not familiar about that.
I'm not familiar about that. The preposition about is the trap there, right?
You got it.
Because you read about things, but you are familiar with things.
Yeah.
So the correct phrase is, I'm not familiar with that.
With that, yes, exactly right. Moving to mistake number 4. This one pops up all the time when people try to use the action phrases to be helpful. They say, let me to check.
Let me to check. They're treating let like a standard verb that needs a toe in front of the next action. Like, I want to check.
Right.
But let is special. We dropped it too.
Yeah.
You just say, let me check. Let me check the schedule. Let me check my email.
I want to check. Great. And the final trap is really similar. When making a promise to get information, people sometimes say, I will find out it.
I will find out it. It sounds like they really want an object at the end of the sentence.
They do.
But the phrasal verb find out stands perfectly on its own in this context, right? You don't need the word it. You just confidently say, I'll find out.
Yes, I'll find out. If a learner can avoid those 5 common traps, they are going to sound incredibly natural using any phrase from today's toolbox.
Well, to prove it, let's actually put these phrases to the test.
I'm ready.
Our source material suggests a 30-second challenge to build conversational muscle memory.
Okay, how does it work?
I'm going to throw 3 unexpected connected questions at you. Let's see if you can answer all 3 without repeating a single phrase and without ever saying, I don't know.
All right, the pressure's on. Let's do the role play.
Okay. Hey, do you know why the office Wi-Fi isn't working today?
I'm not really sure. Maybe the router in the hallway needs to be restarted.
Well, do you know when the IT guy is supposed to run the next system update?
I have no idea, honestly. I haven't seen the maintenance schedule for this month.
Ugh. Do you think the internet will at least be fixed by tomorrow morning?
I couldn't tell you, but let me check with the front desk and I'll find out for you.
End scene. Oh, that was so smooth.
Thanks. I felt like a real office worker there.
Notice the progression there, though, for everyone listening. First, you said, I'm not really sure, which left the door open for a guess about the router.
Right.
Second, you said, I have no idea, which completely closed the door on the maintenance schedule. Because you genuinely didn't know.
Exactly. I didn't want you to keep asking about the schedule.
And finally, you said, I couldn't tell you, which showed some surprise, but you followed it up immediately with an action phrase. Let me check.
Yeah, it creates a real dynamic dialogue. It really doesn't feel like you are just hitting dead ends in the conversation.
And it totally transforms the interaction.
It really does.
And that actually brings us to something bigger. We always like to leave our listeners with a final thought to mull over, something to kind of take with you after the audio stops.
Yeah, because we've talked a lot about the mechanics of these phrases today, right? The words, the grammar, but there's a real cultural shift happening too.
Right. Think about the era we live in now. We all walk around with these amazing smartphones in our pockets every single day.
Oh, yeah. We have access to search engines and AI assistants that can pull up literally any fact in 3 seconds flat.
Exactly. Like 30 years ago, if someone asked you a random trivia question or a fact about a different country, saying, I don't know, was completely normal.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody expected you to be a walking encyclopedia.
Right. But today, because the internet is always right there in our hands, society has developed this weird expectation that we should all just know everything instantly.
We really have.
And if we don't know the answer right away, we feel this deep, strange sense of shame.
Yeah.
Like we panic. We feel like we're failing some sort of invisible test.
It's a completely unfair expectation. No one can know everything.
It is unfair. So my challenge to you, the listener, is to rethink that shame. Having a gap in your knowledge doesn't mean you're failing.
Not at all.
It's simply a moment waiting for the right tool.
I love that. The next time someone asks you a question and your mind just goes blank, don't let the panic take over.
Yeah, just pause. Realize you have choices now. You can politely leave the door open. You can firmly state that you have zero idea. Or, best of all, you can take action.
Take action.
You can say, I'm not sure, but let me check. You stop being the person who lacks the answer, and you step right into the role of the person who finds the solution.
It's just a few simple words, but it really changes your entire posture in the world.
It really does. Well, good luck building your toolbox, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.